Hi, my name's Angie, and in this video I'm going to spend a few minutes telling you how to use a volumetric pipette. So let's start with the equipment. This is a volumetric pipette. This particular one is a 5 ml volumetric pipette. It's printed up here on the neck. A few things before you start using the pipette: check the tip of the pipette. You don't want any chips in the tip of your pipette, because if it's chipped, it may not dispense the entire 5 ml that you're trying to get. So if it is chipped, you may need to go exchange it for a new one. You also want to make sure that your pipette is clean, because dirty pipettes do not transfer liquids well. And just for the record, there's a mark on the neck of the pipette. That's called the fiducial mark, or sometimes just the mark. But that's where you're trying, that's your target line when you're using the pipette. This is the bulb you're going to use. Now this bulb is very different from just this bulb. Just this bulb is very difficult to use. But this white piece has a silicone insert on the inside, and that makes it much simpler to use, because with just a little light pressure, you form the seal on the top of your pipette. You don't have to jam the bulb down onto the pipette. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. We also have a few containers. Always label your containers before you put anything in them. The first container we have is what we're going to call a satellite container or a secondary container. So we'll label it as such. And what we're using in this demonstration is a 25 ppm red dye. So I've labeled it 25 ppm red dye. We have our target container, which is what we're going to dispense the solution into. And then we have a container to set aside for waste. So we have everything set up, we're ready to go. How do you do it? Well, the first thing you want to do is rinse your pipette. So we're going to take our solution, we're going to pour it into our satellite container. Never pipette directly from your stock solution. If there's something on your pipette, it will contaminate the stock solution and then ruin it for anybody else that needs to use it. Always use a satellite container. You want to rinse your pipette with just a few mils of the solution before you use it. Now you see I'm not using the bulb to control the flow of the liquid in the pipette. I'm using my finger. That's really important. So to rinse it, we're just coating the inside. And then we're going to let the solution come back a little past the fiducial mark. And then we let it drain into the waste container. The point here is to coat the entire inside of the pipette that's going to come into contact with your solution. So we've rinsed our pipette, and now we actually want to dispense the liquid. So we pull it up past the mark, and again, it's just very light pressure with the bulb. So you pull the bulb off and you control the flow now with your finger. While the line of the liquid is still above the mark, take a clean Chem wipe and wipe off the outside. Now it's important that you wipe off the outside, because you don't want to transfer anything from the outside of your flask or of your pipette to the container, because then you'll actually be transferring more than the 5 mils as indicated on the pipette. And you want to wipe it off before you drop it to the mark, because as you're wiping off the tip, you could actually wick a little bit of it out onto the Chem wipe. If you've dropped it to the mark and then wipe it off, now you've removed some from the pipette and you're actually transferring less than the 5 mils that you're trying to transfer. So we take our target container, and there's the line. And you slowly just release the pressure with your finger. You notice I'm not taking my finger completely off. I'm just lifting it a little bit, loosening how hard I'm pressing on it, until the meniscus hits the line. Now, here I've overshot it. I've dropped it too far. What I cannot do at this point is say, well, that looks like about 1/10 of a mil, and call it 4.9 mils. That doesn't work. If you drop it past the mark, you simply have to pull more up in and try again. happens all the time. So take your Chem wipe, wipe it off, using pressure with your finger to control the flow. There we go. Let the meniscus, that's the curved part of the liquid, come down to the line. Touch the tip to the edge. Oops. And now drain it into your target container. And you have to let it drain by gravity. You are not ever supposed to blow out these pipettes. So we let it drain. And when it gets close to the end, you just lightly touch the tip to the side, and you're done. And you say, but wait a minute, there's still a little left in the tip. What do I do then? You leave that there. These pipettes are designed to hold just a little bit of liquid in the tip. If you blow it out, you'll dispense more than the 5 mils, and your accuracy goes out the window. So leave that little bit in, and you're done. That's how you use a pipette. Thanks for listening, and I hope that helps, and good luck with your experiments.